The names of Park Jimin and Jungkook again shook the international entertainment universe. Not because of a big comeback or the latest solo project, but because of a gossip that slowly turned into a hot topic in various foreign media. In the last few days, the spotlight on both of them has increased sharply, even exceeding the expectations of many observers of the K-pop industry. What really happened? Why is their relationship now back to being the subject of global discussion? At first, everything seemed like an ordinary moment. A glance of interaction, a brief gaze, or a small gesture that may only be considered part of the closeness between group members. However, for the loyal fans, especially ARMY, nothing is really normal when it comes to Jimin and Jungkook. Every movement, expression, even pause in their conversation always has a deeper meaning, at least in the eyes of those who follow BTS's journey from the beginning. The outside media is starting to catch this pattern. Some international entertainment portals even compiled a long analysis of the dynamics of the relationship between the two. They highlight how Jimin and Jungkook's interaction looks more intense, more emotional, and full of nuances that are difficult to explain in a simple way. In several video clips that are circulating, it can be seen how Jungkook spontaneously approached Jimin several times, as if looking for comfort in the crowd. On the other hand, Jimin also seems to give a warm, attentive, and sometimes so personal response that it makes many people wonder. Gossip began to appear. Some speculate that the two are facing something big together, something that the public does not know. There are also those who believe that their relationship has developed far beyond just an ordinary friendship. However, as usual, there is no official confirmation from the agency or from themselves. This silence actually becomes the fuel that makes speculation even more wild. Interestingly, the foreign media not only reported the gossip, but also tried to understand the cultural context behind it. They discuss how, in the world of K-pop, physical and emotional closeness between group members is often part of teamwork dynamics. However, in the case of Jimin and Jungkook, many feel that there is something different. There is intimacy that feels more sincere, deeper, and difficult to categorize. An entertainment journalist from America even wrote that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has an energy that cannot be fabricated. This statement immediately went viral and sparked a long discussion on various social media platforms. Many agree, but not a few warn that such an interpretation can be excessive. In the midst of all this, ARMY remains the center of attention. Their reaction was divided into two major camps. On the one hand, there are those who enjoy those moments as a strong proof of the friendship between BTS members. They see it as something beautiful, sincere, and worthy of celebration. On the other hand, there are also those who feel worried that excessive attention from the external media can put additional pressure on Jimin and Jungkook. The pressure is not without reason. History has shown that too intense media spotlight can have an impact on the mental health of idols. Every movement is analyzed, every word is interpreted, and every silence is considered a hidden message. In a situation like this, the line between reality and speculation becomes increasingly blurred. However, behind all the controversy and gossip, there is one thing that cannot be denied. The relationship between Jimin and Jungkook does have an extraordinary attraction. They have grown together under the harsh pressure of the industry, facing various challenges, and still standing as part of one of the largest groups in the world. Such a bond is certainly not easy to explain with simple words. Some observers even said that their closeness is one of the factors that makes BTS remain solid until now. In a world full of competition and pressure, having someone who truly understands ourselves is a very valuable thing. And for many people, Jimin and Jungkook seem to find it with each other. However, it is important to remember that not everything that is seen on the surface reflects the whole story. What is shown in front of the camera is only a small part of their lives. There are many things that are never known to the public and perhaps should not be known. The gossip that is currently circulating may subside over time, replaced by new issues that are no less sensational. However, the traces it left behind will remain. He becomes part of a long narrative about how two individuals with different backgrounds can build such a strong relationship in the midst of the world's spotlight. In the end, whether the gossip is true or not is not the most important thing. What is more important is how we as spectators understand and respect the limits. That behind their status as global idols, Jimin and Jungkook are still ordinary humans who have feelings, privacy, and the right to live their lives without excessive pressure. And maybe that's where the true beauty of all this lies. Not in the gossip that circulates, not in the endless speculations, but in the fact that in the midst of such a noisy world, there are two people who can still find each other in silence, in laughter, and in small moments that are now in the spotlight of the whole world. But the story doesn't stop there. Precisely when the media spotlight dimmed for a moment, a new wave of speculation reappeared with a much greater intensity. Park Jimin and Jungkook's names have become trending topics again in various countries, not only in South Korea, but also in the United States, Japan, and Europe, a phenomenon that shows that anything involving the two seems to have a global magnetism that is difficult to explain. It all started from a video clip that circulated widely on social media. In the video, Jungkook is seen staring at Jimin with a different expression than usual, deeper, calmer, as if he is hiding something that is not revealed. For some people, it's just an ordinary look. But for others, especially fans who have been following their journey for a long time, that moment felt unusual. There is a pause. There are emotions that are suppressed. There are stories that seem to want to come out but choose to remain silent. The outside media quickly captured this moment and raised it as a headline. Some even call it the gaze that triggers thousands of theories. The phrase then spread widely, becoming a discussion material in online forums, analysis videos on YouTube, to long threads on the X platform. Every second of the video is dissected, enlarged, even slowed down to find the hidden meaning. But what makes the situation even hotter is the emergence of claims from several anonymous sources who claim to know the true condition behind Jimin and Jungkook's relationship. The claim states that both of them are going through a complex emotional phase, influenced by career pressure, public expectations, and major changes in their lives. Although there is no concrete evidence, this narrative quickly spread and was believed by some people. On the other hand, there are also media that try to calm the situation with a more rational approach. They reminded that the closeness between BTS members has indeed been part of the group's identity since the beginning of their debut. Warm, attentive, even sometimes very personal interaction is not a new thing. However, because of the huge popularity of BTS, every small detail now has the potential to become big news. Interestingly, some pop culture analysts see this phenomenon as a reflection of the emotional needs of the public. In the midst of a world full of uncertainty, many people are looking for stories that they can feel personally. The relationship between Jimin and Jungkook, with all its dynamics and mysteries, becomes one of the safe spaces for many fans to feel closeness, empathy, and even hope. However, behind all that, the pressure on both of them is increasingly felt real. Their every step is now not only observed, but also interpreted from various points of view. Even their silence is considered a statement. In a situation like this, maintaining a balance between personal life and public demands is not an easy challenge. Some of the latest moments further strengthen the narrative that is circulating. In an appearance, Jimin was seen spontaneously grabbing Jungkook's hand, a simple gesture that immediately went viral. On another occasion, Jungkook seemed to smile slightly when he heard Jimin's name mentioned, a reaction that for some people felt too sincere to be considered normal. These moments, even though they are short, have an extraordinarily large impact in the eyes of the public. But the question remains the same. Does all of this really have a deeper meaning, or is it just the result of excessive interpretation? No one really knows, and maybe that's what makes this story live on. Uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity keeps the public's attention burning in the midst of the rush of information. There is one thing that is often forgotten, that behind all this spotlight, Jimin and Jungkook are two individuals who have gone through a long journey together. They have seen each other in the best and worst conditions, sharing dreams, fears, and hopes. Such a bond is not easy to explain, let alone judged from the outside.